What's up guys, it's Blaze here and welcome to another GMS2 RPG tutorial series video or RPG combat tutorial video. In this one we are going to start diagnosing the issues with our current combat system, and to do that we're actually just going to write a single line of code. There it is, there is our one line of code. What is it exactly? This is show message. Now basically what show message does is it takes whatever we put in here and it's going to create a pop-up window. So for this to actually work, we need to put a string inside of it. So our little template is just going to be this right here, what we see on screen. And inside, depending on what we want to write out, we are going to fill some text in. So go ahead and we can actually cut that, because what we are going to do in our game is, the purpose of this is to do two things. One is to diagnose exactly what parts of our combat system need to be fixed. Now, I know what needs to be fixed, but for you guys to be able to picture how or what needs to be fixed, we're going to use that one line. The second function for it actually is to create battle text. So if you think about games like Pokemon, like any JRPG or any RPG game that you've ever played, you might have noticed that there is battle text, right? For example, I don't know, Pikachu uses Thunder Shock, right? That's battle text. And we can emulate that by running that line of code there. It's show message. But like I said, we are going to do this for two things. The first one is for battle text and of course to diagnose the problems in our combat system. So with that one line of code copied, let's go over into the step event. Before I actually start writing out the code or filling these blanks in, this video will probably be the one that will be most unique to each and every single person that's following this series game. All right, it's going to be different in that your combat text will look different to someone else's. I can give you guys the basics, like the basic outline, but I can't give you everything. All right, so that's just something to keep in mind. So with the first line of code, what we're going to do is right here in the manager, in the step event, we have our initialize phase. And so for the initialize phase, we're going to paste that. And here we'll put up a generic message and we'll just say, okay, something simple like that. Let's put that with an exclamation. And let's save out our game and let's try running it just so that I can show you guys exactly what's happening. So we walk in, there we go, enemies appeared, and then we're in the combat room. Now, I have another message that says unit has died. That's fine. That's a leftover from before. We need to actually erase that and get rid of it, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So there's our first line there. Now, it appears right at the start, right? Even before we've transitioned into the room. Why does that happen? Well, the actual room draw event the first draw event call runs after our first step event. So we need to actually fix our initialize phase with some sort of intro phase. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we can do here, at least in the C manager step event, is if we go all the way down to win and lose, we can put a couple of lines here. Simple as that. So with that, with those two extra lines, let's try running our game again. And if we play it, we go in, there we go, enemies appeared, great. And then if we click, let's just say for example, debug win, you won, great, excellent. If we go to back into combat again, if we click debug lose, okay, we're in the game over screen. So there you go. Those two messages work just fine. Now, unfortunately for you guys, for most people, this is where the tutorial would end, or at least that's where I would like it to end, because like I said, it's going to look different. How the combat messages or how the battle messages appear will look different to everyone. Let's keep going though, because we can go with the, not in C manager, here we can go into broadcast message. And here, actually, let's take this line out, because do we need to show this message, unit has died? That's up to you. So hopefully that makes sense, right? What I said before, how each and every single person's RPG combat system will look different. I'm going to keep this here. We're going to keep this here because we obviously want to be able to tell who has died. But maybe I can figure out a way to, instead of saying unit, maybe we can figure out a way to mark who exactly has died in our combat system. But that remains to be seen for now. Let's go over to broadcast message. Now in broadcast message, remember, this gets called whenever we play on our timeline here. These get called whenever these things happen. So in the case that a unit misses, we want to put that message in. But we can make this a little better. In fact, we can go ahead and instead of just writing unit missed, we can do this. Now, when you have two separate strings, please remember that you need to put a plus in between. All right, so that's very important. And if you don't put this plus in, you'll get errors like you saw before, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, let's see what happens now. And let's try attacking. Okay, that time it hit. I think in this case, I've set the hit chance to 100%. So, all right, let's put in one more. This kind of got me scratching my head a little bit because essentially with our AI and our players being controlled by two separate entities, players of course being by you guys and AI being AI, putting the attack code into global left release was kind of pointless. So I figured maybe we could do everything in the scene manager. So here we have attack sent, right? Instead of show debug message, we're going to replace it with the show message. And instead, just like with unit miss, we'll use this format down here. So let's take a look and see what happens. Here we are in our combat scene. Let's attack a unit. There we go. 100023, which matches attacks. And they get hurt. Cool. Basically, we can put some messages here into the managers, not anyone else's, but the manager's broadcast message event. So let's go ahead and do defend as well. Okay, so there it is. We have our show debug message defends, right? Fairly straightforward. Let's play our game. Here we are in combat. Let's defend. There we go. Same guy defends, and we're done. Right, so everybody's attacking, everyone's defending. Let's take a look at using skills. Okay, here's our line for our skill sent. It's going to look a bit funny, I have a feeling, but let's try it out in the game. We have our selected unit, just like with the others, but this time we have uses, and don't forget the space here, and then we're going to pass our selected skill as a string to be printed out. So let's take a look at that by playing our game. Okay, so let's take a look now when we click skill. Slash. There we go. It prints out the entire message here, right? So it uses the name slash and all of these different things. I mean, we can leave that as is for now, but let's see what we can do to fix that. All right, here we go. This is a super simple fix to it. All we did is .name. Now, if we highlight that, let me show you what happens. If I just write name, it actually comes up with built-in sequence. I'm not sure what this is exactly, but if we test it out, I'll show you in a second. If we test it out here in the combat system, we click skill, we click slash. You can see that here it says our character's name uses slash. Done. Now, that's basically it. We've put in all of our code to manage our messages. So this is basically the end of our tutorial. Now, like I said before, your homework is to figure out where you want your combat messages to display. Where? All right. Don't worry about the when just yet, because that's going to be part of how we will diagnose our game and better optimize it and better time things. So for now, just put your show messages into where you think it would be appropriate for your code. I've given you guys the basics. I've given you guys the start, the end, and as well as the basic actions that we have in the game. So that's it for you guys, and that's it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. The next one, we will start to actually work on bringing this game up and getting it working. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.